Hello everyone. I welcome you all in this UPSC CSAT complete lecture series. Today is an important session for every aspirant out there. But before that, I would like to say if you are preparing for any exam or anything, have some patience and perseverance and trust the process, right? Maybe the entire atmosphere around you be unfavorable, but you have to support yourself. Why? Because you are your biggest supporter, right? So today we are going to begin the English comprehension thing. Okay, I will tell you how to approach the English comprehension, the biggest hurdle for every UPSC aspirants, right? So let's begin that thing. But before beginning, I would like to say you have to keep a question paper for any previous year. We will discuss the 2024 paper. Okay, few questions we will discuss, but you can keep any question paper because I will give you live examples based on that one. Okay, and you will understand how to approach this one. Fine. Basic, completely basic. Nothing extra or anything. Okay, okay, let me tell you. I mean about the bedtime stories, right? Our grandmother or maternal grandmother used to tell us about that one. So there is some story. Okay, there is some story, but that story is based on some assumption, right? And finally at last there will be some conclusion, learning of that one, learning from that story, right? This is the sequence. There should be an assumption, then based on that there is a story, and finally we have some learning. Okay, any type of learning, that is our conclusion. Okay, so in this comprehension it will follow the same thing, right? There will be some article, right? Sorry, there will be some article, but articles must be based on some assumption. Okay, and finally there will be some conclusion of that article. Now bring that question paper. Let's say if you have 2024 question paper, then that will be better. Okay, so I will show you there. This comprehension is just for example. Okay, so before proceeding, before reading the comprehension, just look at there. Here is most logical and rational what? Inference. Okay, they're asking about most logical and rational inference. That means this thing is about conclusion. Okay, whatever we are getting from that article, they are asking about that one. Okay, then there is what? Assumptions. Okay, like that if you read entire article, I mean entire passage from this question paper or any question paper, you will find few words. Okay, let me write that one. Okay, you can note that one. Okay, so from the entire 2024 paper I have written these ideas, I mean these words, right? So these are for, in place of conclusion, these are written central idea conveyed, best reflects the thinking, logical and rational inference, empathetically conveyed, crux, logical, rational, practical message and suggestions. These are almost like conclusion, or you can say simply conclusions. Okay, and in place of assumption, it is simply written as assumption. Okay, in place of assumption it is simply written assumption, but in place of conclusion sometimes it was written conclusion, or they will write like this one, some words like this one. Okay, but you have to understand like this is also a conclusion point. Okay, but what we have to understand is like whenever we are learning or reading any passage that is based on some assumption, which type of assumption is taken there. Okay, you have to understand while reading that passage you will understand like which type of assumption is there. Okay, and what type of conclusion we are getting from that one. This is the central idea of this session, right? So when you are reading, you are reading the question paper or you are reading the passage, you can simply underline these things. You can simply underline these things from every passage, like this is the main thing. Okay, and this is our central idea, like there should be some assumption of the article from which the article based on, and then what is the learning from that article, like what is the conclusion of that article. This is the central idea of this session, right? Okay, fine. Now I'm not giving you any shortcuts about this English comprehension or anything like look at this word and based on that you can tick out this option. No, I'm not giving that one. Okay, I will simply say some idea. I will give you some idea like how to read these passages. Okay, fine. See, when you are reading the passage, you have to ignore the data. Always ignore the data. Okay, just read the passage and whatever you are getting from that passage, that is the important thing. Okay, so I'm giving you a few minutes, you can try this one. Okay, and based on that we will solve this one. Okay, just read it, pause the video and read it. Okay, from your question paper or from this video, whatever you are comfortable with, you can try. Fine. Okay. See, if you're reading this one, you will find like it is talking about the lost and wasted food, right? Fine. This is the basic idea of this passage. Okay, you can pause this video and read it completely, and based on that you will understand like what this passage is saying. Okay, so I think you have done this one part. Okay, let me move to the question one. Like they're asking about the most logical and rational inference that can be made from the passage. Okay, so first thing is, see in this question or many this type of question we can completely solve through the options only, or sometimes you can take help from passage, but still you have to take the hint from this one. Like it is saying like the current methods of food distribution and are solely responsible for the loss and wastage of food, but they are saying solely responsible means completely responsible. So these are extreme words. See, whenever there is extreme words, okay, so there is a chances like this option can be wrong. Okay, you can just you can say that you can just consider like this can be false. You can check the other options. Okay, here is land productivity is adversely affected by the prevailing trend of loss of food loss and wastage. Okay, they are talking about the land productivity, right? So here if you look at this one, the increasing wastage also result in land degradation, okay, by about 45%, but we don't need this one, but this is the important thing that the increasing wastage also results in land degradation mainly due to deforestation. Okay, so we can say like this is true. From this passage we can conclude like this is true. Okay, conclusion thing, right? Fine. Next one is reduction in the loss and wastage of food results in lesser carbon footprint. Okay, you are getting this one. What this is saying, reduction in the loss and wastage of food results in lesser carbon footprints. Okay, so here if you see, if you look at this one, the energy is spent over wasted food result in about 3.5 billion ton of carbon dioxide production every year. Okay, that's fine. There is we don't need this data, but about this line, okay, what you are getting from this one, the energy spent every wasted over every wasted food. Okay, what they are saying, the energy spent over wasted food result in about 3.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide production. Okay, like whatever energy we are wasting on that wasted food, okay, from that energy we can produce 3.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide. That is about what? Carbon footprint. Okay, so if you reduce the loss, okay, so there will be less carbon footprint, right? There will be less energy reduction, I mean yes, less energy involvement over that wasted food. Okay, so that is about that one. Okay, so that's why this statement is also true. But if you see this one, post harvest technology is, post harvest technology to prevent or reduce the loss and wastage of food are not available. Again, this is saying that extreme word not available, but whenever you are reading this one, you will think like maybe it can be available. Okay, completely available, not available is not the option. It is not written, it is not written in the, I mean, article passage. Okay, so if it is not written in the passage, we can consider that one. Okay, if it is written, then we can consider that one. Okay, so whenever you are reading any passage, if that thing is written, then we can consider that one. From that conclusion, for that conclusion point, not the assumption. I'm not saying about the assumption, I'm saying about the conclusion thing. Okay, so if this is not written, that's why we are not considering this thing. So we can say like 2 and 3 is correct one. Clear? Fine. Now the assumption means we have to, like, this is the article, this is based on some assumption. So we are talking about the food wastage thing. Okay, that means before this thing, before any problem, we should be talking about, or we might be talking about some like say some resolution. Okay, from this one, for this problem, we might have talked about some resolutions. Okay, so there is some statement like food distribution mechanism needs to be reimagined and made effective to reduce the loss and wastage of food. So we can say like this is some sensible statement about the food losses. Okay, loss and wastage of food. And then it is written like ensuring the reduction of wastage and loss of food is a social and moral responsibility of all citizens. So this is not any logical from this one. Like I'm thinking like this can be assumption for this one. No. Okay, because about this one, moral responsibility of all citizens or social responsibility of all citizens, this is not about this one. Okay, there is nothing written about this one. Okay, that's why we can say that only one statement is falling here. Okay, can be the assumption of this passage. So what we are getting from this one? First, for conclusion thing, we have to read the passage. Based on that passage, we are whatever we are getting, I mean summary we are getting from that passage, that is important. Okay, so how to approach this one? First, you can read the question. Okay, just read the question and you can underline this one, like what is they are asking. Okay, you may read the option, that's fine, but I think you can just read the passage first before reading this one. Okay, just read the passage first, ignore the data, Okay, just read the passage, and now if you read once, you will get the idea of this one. Like when I was reading, I was thinking like just 2 3 lines I was reading, okay, 3 4 lines I was reading, that I was getting from this one, like this is about loss and wastage food, about the loss and wastage food. Okay, so if you read the entire passage, this is about this thing only. Okay, now you can read complete passage, and based on that you can find like what is the conclusion and what is the assumption, what can be the assumption of this one. Are you getting this one? Is anything unclear or anything like that one? You can comment that. See, in this session, we will try to solve few passages. Let's say 5 or 6 passages we will try. And if you say like I should solve more passages, then I will try more. Okay, but right now we will solve 5 or 6 passages in this session. Okay, just to make you understand. And I think I'm just giving you the concept, and with the concept few PYQs like 5 or 6 passages means around 10 questions will be enough for one session. Okay, fine, let's move to the next one. Okay, now look at this second passage. Okay, I'm giving you some time to read this one. Take 2 or 3 minutes. You can pause this video, you can read this passage, and based on that you can solve this one. Okay, but before that we can see like, okay, first read this passage. Okay, this is a small passage, and based on this is there is 2 questions. Okay, okay, let me read together. Like, as inflation rises, have even governments previously committed to budget discipline are spending freely to help households. Higher interest rates announced by central banks are supposed to help produce modest fiscal austerity, because to maintain a stable debt while paying more to borrow, governments must cut spending or raise taxes. Without the fiscal backup, monetary policy eventually loses traction. Okay, higher interest rates become inflationary, not disinflationary, because they simply lead governments to borrow more to pay rising debt service costs. The risk of monetary unmooring is greater when public debt rises, because interest rates become more important to budget deficits. Okay, this is the passage. So I think you may take 1 or 2 minutes to just read this one, just to get the central idea of this one. So I think just simple, just 1 or 2 lines, that type of idea. Like they are talking about what? About the deficits, budget. Okay, fine. Now just read the questions. Here, which of the following statements best reflect the most logical and rational inference that can be made from the passage? Again, see, this is about the inference. Okay, inference means what? Inference means again the conclusion thing. Whatever the whichever words I have told you there. Okay, that is about the conclusion. Okay, so in every question there is only 2 things. No any fancy words, just 2 things. One is assumption, second is conclusion. Only 2 words will be there in every passage. Just keep this in your mind. Okay, and whenever you are reading any passage, any means any passage, you just keep in mind like you have to find any conclusion from this one. Okay, you have to draw any conclusion from that passage. Because why I'm saying like you have to read the passage first? Because if you read the passage first, you will get the conclusion thing. Okay, you will draw the conclusion, and there will be one question based on that one. That is must. Okay, about the conclusion. It might be written like inference, it might be written about the crux, or whatever, say like suggestions, anything. Okay, but this is about the only the conclusion. Okay, that's why I'm saying you have to read the passage. Now coming to the question, like we have to find the conclusion, and here is a central banks cannot bring down inflation without budgetary backing. Okay, second thing is the effect of monetary policy depend on the fiscal policies pursued by the government. Okay, there is an advantage in English comprehension, like maximum English comprehension is like what? Like article from the newspaper. Okay, they're from which subjects? From policies. Okay, yeah, environment. Okay, this type of topics they will give you there, or science and technology. Okay, so this question is from where? From economy. Okay, banking sector, right? So it is given like central banks cannot bring down inflation without budgetary backing. So here one thing is clear, like this is extreme word without, and we know like this is a wrong statement. Okay, this is a wrong statement, we can say like this is a wrong statement. And second thing, the effects of monetary policy depend on the fiscal policies pursued by the government. So we can say like this is true, this is right. Okay, the first statement is, sorry, only second statement is true. Okay, second one is, based on the above passage the following assumptions. See, here was the conclusion, there is a assumption, and just remember, if this is a passage or article, okay, so assumption will be there. Okay, this is will be the assumption and there will be the conclusion. This should be your sequence, chronology. Okay, keep this in your mind. Okay, so first thing is, fiscal policies of government are solely responsible for higher prices. Is this true? Fiscal policy of the government are solely responsible for higher prices? No, it's not. So we can say like this is wrong. Okay, second thing is what? Higher prices do not affect the long term government bonds. So, in this passage, is there anything about government bonds? Tell me. No. If this if this is the assumption, just imagine if this is the assumption, in this passage there would be something about that government bond, but there is nothing about this one. Okay, that's why we can say like this is also a wrong statement. Okay, yes, there is about the borrowing, but not about the government bonds. Okay, so we can say D, the neither one nor two is the correct option. Are you getting this one? Okay, see, sometimes you can solve without reading the article. That's fine, I know that one. You also know that one. Like sometimes without reading the passage, you can solve this one, whatever the question is there. So maximum times you would get the right answer. But still, if you have time, okay, just spend 1 or 2 minutes in the passage. I'm sure you will get the answer, definitely the right answer. Okay, fine. So till now, are you getting this lecture or not? Are you understanding this one? Okay, if you are understanding this one, so put the like button, and if there is anything, so is there any doubt, you can comment that doubt in the comment section, or if there is no doubt, you can say like yes sir, I'm understanding that part. Okay, it will boost my confidence also. Fine, so moving to the next one. So this is your third passage. So just read it once. Like today, if you consider cities such as New York, London, and Paris as some of the most iconic cities in the world, it is because plans carried a heavy system approach were imposed on these precincts. The backbone of the system theory is the process of translating social, spatial, and cultural desirables into mathematical models using computing statistics, optimization, and an algorithmic way of formulating and solving problems. The early universities of the West, which began to train professionals in planning, spawned some of the most ingenious planners who were expert in these domains. This was because these very subjects were absorbed into the planning curriculum that had into roots into the social science, geography, architecture. Planning in India and its education differ from the West. So, actually, what we are getting from this passage, simply, if you read once, you will get some idea about the architecture, about the education system, right? And whatever this thing. Okay, so based on that one, there is some difference. Okay, so now moving towards a question. Again, here is logical and rational inference. That means about the conclusion, and if you look at this one, there will be assumption. Okay, so I have told you earlier that in every passage there will be two things: conclusion and assumption. Assumption means it should be prior to the passage. Okay, first assumption, then this passage, then this conclusion. Okay, so when we are reading this one, so we found about that what? About the architecture, about the education, right? So now just reading this one, the options, the curriculum for urban planning courses should have diverse and disciplinary approach. So I think this is about that passage. Next thing is in India, city administration is under bureaucracy which lacks formal training in urban planning and management. There is nothing about that this bureaucracy in this passage. Okay, so this is wrong. Okay. Third, in India, the management of urban area is a local affair which is chronic problem of insufficient funds. This, again, nothing about that local affairs. Okay, this is wrong. Then, with high density of population and widespread poverty in our urban areas, plan development in them is very difficult. Okay, so again, this is nothing about high density of population in this passage. Okay, fine. Now, are you getting this one? I was just read this once, and based on that, I got this idea. I think you have got the same. You have got the same idea from this one. So, moving to the next one, like about the assumptions. Okay, assumption means this story, this passage is based on this one. Okay, fine. Now, India need a new generation of urban professionals with knowing knowledge relevant to modern urban practices. Okay, so I think this can be true. Okay, see, I can do mistakes. If I am doing mistake, you can correct me. Okay, your correction is always welcomed. Fine. Next, Indian universities at present have no capacity or potential to impart training in system approach. At present, have no capacity. Extreme words. Completely wrong. Okay, so this is completely wrong. So we can say 2 is completely wrong. But now it's first true. See, here's something. Like India needs a new generation of urban professionals with knowledge relevant to modern urban practices. India needs. Okay. Yes, we know India needs that one. Okay. So based on this one, it can be the passage. Okay. But I think it can be or cannot be. Okay. So right now I'm taking this one. So just check it once like this is true or not. Okay. I'm thinking like maybe this one is correct or this one is correct. You can check it out. Okay. And comment the answer. Fine? Okay then. Moving to the next one. See, if you are not getting this one, you can comment that one. If you are getting this explanation better, like if you're finding this one is better, then you can comment like, yes, I am finding this one better. Okay? Fine. See, in last 2 days, I'm just thinking about this one, like how to arrange this one, how to present the this lecture. Okay, so I think I know like how much effort I am doing this one I am doing for this lecture. So that's it. This is your next passage. Okay, so just read it once. Like, not every voice on the internet commands the same kind of audiences. When anonymous private entities with high capital can pay you more space for their opinions, they are effectively buying a louder voice. If political discourse in the digital sphere is a matter of outshining one's opponent till the election is won, then the quality of politics suffer. The focus of social media is restricted to the promotion of content that generates more user engagements regardless of how inflammatory the content may be. Okay, so I think the core idea is about the use of social media in politics. Okay, this is my view. Okay, you can write your view, and let's see what the question is. Though it is about reflects the central idea of the above passage. Central idea means the same thing, the conclusion, the summary of this one. Okay, next one is assumption. See, I have telling you again and again, like only two type of questions they are asking, just assumption and the central idea, like conclusion. Okay, so whenever you are reading the passage, I think it will take only 1 or 2 minutes maximum. Okay, and you will get the central idea from that one. I know you are that much smart to understand that one, that is small passage. Okay, so now try this one. Okay, so first one is given like what? The constructed as a master place of view, social media ensure instant access to information. Okay, second one is social media are not ideal or moral institution but the product built by companies to make profit. That's right. This is not ideal or moral institution. Based on this, we can understand like this is true. Okay. Next one is social media have been created to strengthen democracy. No. Based on this one, we can say like yes, I mean what I'm trying to say is yes, this is right, like social media have been created to strengthen democracy. I mean it can be used to strengthen democracy, but it has not created to strengthen democracy. Are you getting this one? Okay, so understand this point. You may do mistakes from this one, like social media is strengthening democracy. Okay, that's why this is wrong. Second, I mean, next one is in today's world, social media are inevitable for well informed social life. Is it right? You are more aware about the Instagram and the real thing. So, completely wrong. It is not inevitable for well informed social life. This is a false thing. Okay. So, now we can say like B is the correct option. Fine. And first option can be somewhat right, but this is not the core idea of this passage. Okay, this can be like constructed as a marketplace of view. Social media ensure instant access to information. We can say like somewhat this is. I mean this statement is true somewhat. Okay, but from this passage, this is not the core idea. Okay, the core idea is about the ideal and moral institution, because they are talking about the what politics, inclusion of politics, inclusion of social media in politics. Okay, that is the thing. See, there is a line like if political discourse in the digital sphere is a matter of outshining one's opponent till the election is won, then the quality of politics suffer. This is given. This is about that what? It is about that morale of election, morale of the democracy. Okay, that's why B is correct one. Next one is about the assumption. Okay, so assumption is given like internet is not inclusive enough. Okay, so we can say like what? Why we are talking about this one? First is the problem. Earlier in one passage we have talked about this one. First one is problem, second one is why. I mean, problem means there is some example, okay, and there will be some solution. Okay, this problem is what? Assumption. Okay, this example is our passage, and solution is what? Conclusion. Okay, so this is the thing. So that's why we can say internet is not inclusive enough. That's right. Next one is what? Internet can adversely affect the quality of politics in a country. So how it is affecting the quality of politics in a country, we can see from this passage. This is example. Okay, that's why I'm saying you have to first read the passage. See, many, you will find many things, you will find many resources out there. I'm not quoting anything, any names or anything. So you can find many thing out there. So see, they are not wrong. Okay, either book or either the teachers, they are not wrong, they are also right. Okay, but they have their own approach. This is my approach. Okay, if you trust my approach, you can follow this one. That's the only thing. Okay, nothing wrong in that. You can follow the my approach, or you can follow others approach, that's fine. The core idea is what? The core idea is you have to qualify the CSAT anyhow. Okay, so that you can appear for the mains. That is the core thing. Okay, so be honest with yourself. If you are getting the idea, you can follow me. You can getting the idea from others, you can follow them, that's fine. Okay, okay then. So you get this passage. Is there any doubt from this one? This is completely clear. Okay, fine. So this is your passage. Like, by the time children reach class 8, the bulk of them tend to be in the age range of 13 years to 15 years. But in our society, in our country, about a quarter of all children in class 8 struggle with reading simple text, and more than half are still unable to do basic arithmetic operation like division. Every year, about 25 million young boys and girls from elementary school move into the life that lies for them beyond compulsory schooling. They cannot enter the workforce, at least in the organized sector, till they are 18. For many families, these children are the first from their families even to get this far in school. Parents and children expect that such graduates from schools will go on to high school and colleges. Hardly anyone wants to go back to agriculture. On the other hand, abilities in terms of academic competencies competencies are far lower than they should be, even based on curricular expectation of class 8. Okay, so I think this is about what? This is about the education system, about the arithmetic of, I mean, about the uh, logical approach. Okay, and then the let's say school curriculum. Okay, because this is about that thing only. Okay, now look at this questions. Okay, there is the assumption, there will be central idea conveyed, means what? Means conclusion. Okay, so there is the assumption means this passage is based on this assumption. Okay, so first statement is, for effective school education, parents have greater role than government. There is nothing like this one about the parent role and government role. About this one, there is nothing in this passage. Okay, so based on this one, I mean, if this is the assumption, just consider, if this is the assumption about the parent involvement and the government involvement, there should be something about that one, because I have told you, like, there should be some problem. Based on that, there will be what? Example. Okay, so if this is the problem, is there any example based on that one, like parental role or government role on this one? No, there is nothing like that one. It is just given like the elementary school children are coming from that school and they are not doing well in the workforce. Okay, so that means there will be some wrong in the system. Okay, education system, or you can say curriculum. Okay, so next thing is school curriculum that conforms to today's requirement and is uniform for the entire country may address the issue brought out. Okay, so this is talking about the today's requirement. This is saying that school curriculum should look at that what is today's requirement. Okay, and what is uniform for entire country, that should be addressed. Okay, so we can say like this is wrong, this is completely wrong, but this can be right. Second thing, that about the school curriculum, this can be right because why this is required, why this statement is correct, can be correct, because if this is the, like this is requirement. Okay, this is our requirement. Why this is requirement? Next thing is why it is requirement. So requirement means this is assumption. Okay, and why this is requirement, that is passage. Okay, are you getting this one? Okay, and based on that one, what is the result, what can be the result, that will be our conclusion. Okay, so here is the result. So you can read this one, like total eradication of poverty in the country will resolve the issue of underperformance of our school children. No, this is nothing about that one. Eradication of poverty, this is wrong. Next is monetary incentives to parents and teachers is a strategy to improve the children's academic performance. Is this monetary incentives? No. Third one is public policies should ensure that competence competence sorry competency okay competencies and achievements of young people are aligned with their expectations. Public policies should ensure that competencies and achievements of young people are aligned with their expectations. Okay, so we can say like yes, this can be true. Okay, because we are saying about what can be the policies, okay, which can ensure the competencies and achievement of young people. See, there is the word. Yeah, and last one is India is not going to take advantage of the demographic dividend unless some school pass out go back to the agriculture. Okay, there is nothing about this one. India is not going to take advantage of democratic dividend unless some school pass out go to the agriculture. Is it true? No, this is not true. This is not completely true or partially true, you can say. So this is our correct option, third one. Okay, so what I am saying is, whenever you are reading this one, see, it can be requirement, it can be problem. Okay, based on that, it can be example, it can be the reason. Okay, it can be the question why. Okay, so these are the core thing. You have to understand the you have to understand the core idea about this one. Okay, they are not giving that this is the exact assumption. You have to understand like what is the exact assumption, how they are making this one. You have to understand the chronology, you have to understand the sequence. Okay, if you get the sequence, simple, what I am saying is simple is whenever there is the assumption is given, just think like if this is the assumption, can whatever the assumption is there. Okay, you have to consider how to approach this one. First, you have to just think like if anything is assumption, any statement is assumption, based on that the passage is given. Okay, so you have to just click in mind like which can be the true one. Okay, you will get the idea within minute. I am sure you will get the idea. Okay, so you will get the idea about this one, like which one is true. Okay, which assumption is true. And when you are talking about the what conclusion is very easy. Okay, because whenever you are reading the passage, conclusion is just a summary of that one. Okay, core idea, or you can say summary, or whatever you are learning from that passage, that is the conclusion. Okay, so now I think we have to close this session, but okay, fine, we will do one more question. Okay, after that we will close this session. Okay, fine. This is your last passage, okay, for this session. Okay, if you required, if you ask to make more video based on this one, we will try to make that one. Okay, and just try to solve these questions. Okay, I have given you the basic idea, like how to approach this one. Okay, what is the idea? Just read the passage only. Just read the passage. When you read the passage, I think you will get the idea of that passage, core idea. Okay, and simple, you have to find the assumption. Assumption is what? This passage is based on this assumption. Okay, means first assumption, then this will be there will be the passage, and then last will be the conclusion. But words can be changed. Okay, there can be the problem based on there is example and then the solution. Okay, like this one. Okay, so here is your passage, like we take it to granted now that science has a social responsibility. The idea would not have occurred to Newton or Galileo. They thought of science as an account of the world as it is, and the only responsibility that they acknowledged was to tell the truth. The idea that science is a social enterprise is modern, and it begins at the Industrial Revolution. We are surprised that we cannot trace a social sense further back, because we nurse the illusion that the Industrial Revolution ended a golden age. So, what is this about? I think there is something about the technology. Okay, something about the Industrial Revolution. Okay, when you read this once, you may get the idea, or you may not get the exact idea, but I think you will get some words from this one. Like I have got this one, like Industrial Revolution, or you can see the science thing. Okay, you can see the social responsibility thing. So you can just underline that word. Okay, important thing. I mean, you are a student of UPSC or any PCS examination, and you are trying to this one. So I think you will get the exact words. Okay, you will just underline the exact words, important words, like which one is the important words. Just underline that one. That can be the core idea of that passage. Okay. Now the question is, which one of the following statements best reflect the thinking of the author about the science? Thinking of the author means what? Means I think this is about the assumption. Okay, like just imagine I am the author. I have some thought. Okay, based on that I have just written this passage. Okay, so exactly the thought is what? The thought is my assumption. Okay, I have just considered something, and based on that I have written these statements. Okay, now the first one is, science must value the commitment of scientists. Okay, fine. Science is a product of civilized society and must be used for the promotion of scientific awareness in people. No, there is nothing like that one. Civilized society or the promotion of scientific awareness, there is nothing that one. Industrial revolution was made possible by the advancement in science. Okay, there is about industrial revolution, but let's see. Science must pursue truth but be responsible for social welfare. Okay, now coming back to this one. it is written like industrial revolution was made possible. It was made possible by the advancement in science. Means it is saying like only because of science it is possible. Is it true? Okay, no, this is not true. Not just because of science, there is many other things. Many factors are responsible for industrial revolution. Okay, next one is science must pursue. Okay, this one. Science must value the commitment of scientists. Okay, like okay, this one is true, but we can't say like this is the exact assumption. Okay, like we can value the commitment of scientists, and based on this one we have written this one. Okay, this is about industrial revolution, this is about the social responsibility. Okay, social welfare. So this is about the social welfare, like science must pursue truth, but the but be responsible for social welfare. So this will be our right option. Okay, so like this you can approach this type of comprehensions. Okay, and I have told you like how to, I mean how many comprehension you can approach. Like if you are good in mathematics, or if you are like, there is three sections: comprehension, mathematics, and that reasoning part. You have to be good in two part. Okay, because if you are good in just one part, you may qualify this paper or you may not. That's why I'm saying don't take risk. Just try to be in, try to be good in two part. Okay, either it maths or reasoning, or you can say English comprehension or anything, but don't ignore English comprehension. English comprehension is very easy. Okay, if you are good in maths and reasoning, that's fine, that's good. But sometimes like 2023 paper, you will find it's very logical, completely new pattern. Okay, so in that time, if you are good in English comprehension, it will be more easy to qualify the CSAT paper. Okay, that's why I'm saying you have to balance all three. If you are balancing all three, it will be best. Okay, that is the best approach, but that is the best strategy. Okay, so I think I have discussed around 6 or 7 passages. Okay, and if my explanation is good, if my explanation is up to mark, like you are getting the idea like how to solve this type of question, so try yourself other questions. Okay, try to solve the other question from the same year 2024. Okay, and you can say like, so this is fine. Okay, I'm getting the idea, I'm getting how to solve the English comprehension, right? And still if you are finding something difficult, you can comment that one. We will try to make video based on your doubts. Okay, and till then, try, practice well, and take care of your health also, because this is very important, this is very crucial time. Okay, and just be consistent, and all the best. Have a nice day. Jai Hind.